Good morning, students. I am Riya Sinha, your SST teacher. Today, we are going to start Unit 4 of Civics. That one is chapter number 7, which is Understanding Marginalization. Here in this unit, we will discuss about marginalization. What do you mean by the term marginalization? We will try to understand in this chapter. What does it mean to be socially marginalized? Basically, to be marginalized is to be forced to occupy the sides or fringes that does not be at the center of things. So this is something that some of you have probably experienced in school or home or playground or anywhere else. If you're not like most people in your class, that is, if your taste in music or films is different, if your accent marks you out from others, if you are less chatty than others in your class, or if you don't play the same sport that many of your classmates like, or if you dress differently, then the chances are that you will not be able to be considered to be in by your peers or by your friends. So often you end up feeling that you are not with it, as if what you say, feel, and think, and how you act are not quite right or acceptable to others. So basically, at that time, you will feel marginalized. You will feel different from others, as if others are trying to make you feel little less or inferior in comparison to them. So, as we have seen in the case of classroom, in the social environment, two groups of people or communities may have the experience of being excluded. Their marginalization can be because they speak a different language, follow different customs, or belong to a different religious group from the majority community. They may also feel marginalized because they are poor, considered to be of low social status, and viewed as being less human than others. Sometimes marginalized groups are viewed with hostility and fear also, and this sense of difference and exclusion leads to communities not having access to resources and opportunities and in their inability to assert their rights. So they experience a sense of disadvantage and powerlessness that is more powerful and dominate section of society who own land, are wealthy, better educated, and politically powerful. Thus, marginalization is seldom experienced in one sphere. Economic, social, cultural, and political factors work together to make certain groups in society feel marginalized. So, basically, in this chapter, we will going to discuss about two communities that are considered to be socially marginalized in India today. First, uh, senior chapter, Adivasis and Marginalization. A kind of a storyboard is given in your book. An Adivasi family in Delhi, Soma and Helen, are watching the Republic Day parade on TV with their grandfather. Oh, see, an Adivasi float. Dadu, why do they always show Adivasis as only dancing? Yes, don't they know anything else about us? The lives of Adivasi are very rich. Most people don't know that. Then um, Soma and Helen, when both were watching TV on Republic Day parade, then they observed that Adivasi community were shown there as they were dancing. Some their basic moves were there. So they asked to their grandfather that why do they always show Adivasi as only dancing? So they are having query that why don't they anything they don't they know anything else about them? Their grandfather answered that the lives of Adivasis are very rich, but most of the people don't know about them. Then he continued that when I was young, our village in Odisha was beautiful. We got everything we needed from the land and the forest around us. We in turn respected the land, the forest, the river. But suddenly we were told that the forest was not ours. Forest officials and contractors cut down large parts of it. If we protested, they beat us and then took us to court, where we did not have our lawyers and could not fight our cases. So their grandfather told them a story in which how they used to live earlier in Odisha in a beautiful way, in which they had everything, their land, the forest around them, and they used to respect all these things in turn. But suddenly they were told that the forest was not there. Forest officials and contractors cut down large part of it, and if they protested, they used to humiliate them or beat them. Then Helen asked, how did you survive, Dadu? Her grandfather said that many of us were forced to leave our homes and find seasonal work in nearby towns. Then the company walas came. They said there was iron ore under our land. They wanted to mine it. They promised jobs and money if we sold our land to them. Some villagers were excited. Others said this would destroy our lives and we would get nothing. But some gave thumbprints, not realizing they were selling their lands off. Only a few were given tokens job, but most of us did not sell. So basically, it was a kind of scheme or something like that. That if they will give them their land, then in return they promise jobs and money. But it wasn't happen. Some only some of them have got the job, and most of them did not sell their lands. Then they beat and threatened us till eventually everyone was forced to sell and abandon the land of their forefathers. They had the support of the authorities. Our whole way of living vanished overnight. Oh Dadu, and our land what? For our 30 acres, we got a little money from one contractor. I never saw most of my friends again. The money hardly lasted in the city. We had no means of livelihood anymore. We were all cramped into a tiny rented room. How we missed our carefree lives, the open spaces. After a few years, your father got a job in Delhi and we all moved here. Those were very difficult times. That is why both of you did not go to school for several years. Their grandfather to them about their misery and poverty, whatever they have faced in their early life, and why, and the reason behind why they did not go to school in their early years. I hated going back to school. We had missed so much of our studies, and other children made fun of us. We spoke Santhali at home and did not know Hindi. But now we have friends. I can even speak some English now. I wish I could have shown my friends our village before it was destroyed. You can still tell them about our village. It has a lot to teach them. One day I will make a movie on this story, our story, the Adivasi story. So his grandfather was a proud Adivasi. He just wanted to tell their grandchildren about the whole life they have spent in their village and all the stories he wanted to tell to everyone. So, for that, he said that he will make a movie on this story, the story of Adivasi. So, just now we read about how Dadu was forced to leave his village in Odisha, and his story is similar to the lives of millions of Adivasi in India, because it was not just a story, it really happened in our India when British was there, when colonization period was there, then all the Adivasis were forced to leave their village or land. So we will read more about the marginalization of this community in this chapter. See the next topic now. Who are Adivasis? In this topic, we will come to know more about them. Adivasis. The term literally means original inhabitants. Adivasi means original inhabitants who used to live here from the earlier times. So these are communities who lived and often continue to live in close association with forest. Around 8% of India's population is Adivasi, and many of India's most important mining and industrial centers are located in Adivasi areas like Jamshedpur, Raulkela, Bokaro, Bhilai, and some others also. Adivasis are not a homogeneous population. There are over 500 different Adivasi groups in India. So, Adivasis are particularly numerous in states like Chhattisgarh, Jharkhand, Madhya Pradesh, Odisha, Gujarat, Maharashtra, Rajasthan, Andhra Pradesh, West Bengal, and even in northeastern states of Arunachal Pradesh, Assam, Manipur, Meghalaya, Mizoram, Nagaland, and Tripura. So, a state like Odisha is home to more than 60 different tribal groups. That's why I have said you all that Adivasi is not a homogeneous group. A lot of variations are there. Different tribal groups are there. So Adivasi societies are also most distinctive because there is often very little hierarchy among them. This makes them radically different from communities organized around principles of jati or varn or caste system or those that were ruled by kings. So basically, Adivasis practice a range of tribal religions that are different from Islam, Hinduism, and Christianity, and any other religion which we used to follow here. So these often involve the worship of ancestors, village, and nature spirits. The last associated with the residing in various sites in the landscape, that is, mountain spirits, river spirits, animal spirits, etc. Not like us to worship an idol who is obviously not a living. The village spirits are often worshipped at specific sacred groves within the village boundary, while the ancestral ones are usually worshipped at home. So additionally, Adivasis have always been influenced by different surrounding religions like Sakt, Buddhist, Vaishnav, Bhakti, and Christianity. Simultaneously, Adivasi religions themselves have influenced dominant religions of the empires around them. Obviously, who were dominant, they used to surround them. For example, the Jagannath cult of Odisha and Shakti and Tantric tradition in Bengal and Assam. During the 19th century, substantial numbers of Adivasi converted to Christianity, now who are known as Adivasi Christians. So, which has emerged as a very important religion in modern Adivasi history. Adivasis have their own language, and most of them radically different from and possibly as old as Sanskrit, or the Vedic language we used to study in our early history. So, which have often deeply influenced the formation of mainstream, that is, Indian languages like Bengali. Santhali has the largest number of speakers and has a significant body of publications, including magazines on the internet or in e-zines. Okay, so that's all for today. Hope you all understood the cover topics well. In the next class, we will continue this chapter. Till then, thank you and have a nice day.